So the essay Death by Francis Bacon. Men fear death as children fear to go in the dark, and as the natural fear in children is increased with tales, so in the other certainly for contemplation of death as the wages of sin and passage to another world is holy and religious, but the fear of it as a tribute due to unto nature is weak. Yet in religious meditations there is sometimes mixture of vanity and of superstition. You shall read in some of the friars' books and mortification that a man should think with himself. With the pain is if he have but his fingers and pressed or tortured and thereby imagine what the pains or death are when the whole body is corrupted and dissolved, when many times death passeth with less pain than the torture of a limb, for the most vital parts are not the quickest of sins. And by him that spake only as a philosopher and natural man. It was well said, Pompa mortis magis territ quam mora ispa gran and convulsion and a discolored face, and friends weeping and blacks and obsequious, and the like show death terrible. It is worthy that observing that there is no passion in the mind of man so weak, but it mates and masters the fear of death, and therefore death is so much terrible enemy. When a man hath so many attendants about him, death can win the combat of him. Now the summary of the essay of death. When completing a literary analysis, a reader must examine the purpose behind how and why a text was written. Authors make very specific literary and stylistic choices for very specific reasons. A reader completing an analysis must pay attention to these things. In regards to his essay of death, Bacon Heights makes no restraints. The essay opens stating, men fear death. Immediately after, he compares his fear to the fear felt by children when afraid of the dark. Although nothing really exists within the dark to support the fear, it is the fear of what could be there which increases and enforces the fear. Bacon's essay then is meant to enlighten the reader in regards to why one should not fear death. Essentially, Bacon's argument lies in the fact that death is natural, and for that reason it should not be feared. Therefore, Bacon's purpose lies in comforting his reader about the concepts surrounding and existing within death. The repetition of the S, M, and F sounds illustrates Bacon's purpose. S should sometimes superstitions are sibilants. Their sounds tend to be soft and comforting. When used correctly, MS meditations, mixtures. On the other hand, are nasals. These sound soft and calm. Fingers, fear. Sounds are fricatives and can be hard or voiceless. In Bacon's essay, many of the F sounds are voiceless, which again add to the calming nature of the essay. Overall, Bacon's language choices and stylistic choices ensure the message of his essay that death should be accepted and not feared is heard. The essay's movement allows for the readers to become comfortable with death, since the fear is compared to a child's fear of the dark, which as an adult the reader may have already overcome. By bringing forward a pure emotion and victory over a previous fear, Bacon illustrates the reasoning behind one not possessing a fear of death.